Welcome back, everybody. Today's video is completely insane. It's pushing me out of my comfort zone. My neighbors down the street, their niece graduated college, and they asked me to do a catering event for them. Never done catering in my life, but they know I know how to throw down on the barbecue. So we got 5 bone-in pork butts here, and I'm gonna take you along on the journey. First thing we're gonna do is cut these babies open, get them dry, and make a pork butt injection marinade. We're gonna take the backside of our knife and place it down. We're gonna get in here, and we're just gonna slice it right open, nice and slow. We wanna avoid cutting that meat. You might get it a little bit, but that's okay. And remember, whenever you're using a knife and handling it to cut some meat or opening it out of a package, cut away from your body. You do not want to slip and accidentally hurt yourself. We're gonna take this out of the package and get it pat down. We want to dry it as much as we can. Make sure you have some paper towels handy. Pat it dry. Okay, so since I'm doing catering, I'm gonna go ahead and treat it just like I typically do, but I'm gonna use my best techniques because I want it to be special for them. And that comes with a nice injection. Let's go ahead and make it. All right, to start the injection, we got about 2 cups of apple juice and a ½ cup of apple cider vinegar, ½ cup of water, 4 tablespoons of maple syrup, some Worcestershire sauce, and some melted butter. And we're gonna whisk like you've never whisked before. We want all that flavor and ingredients to come together so we can inject it in this lovely pork butt and add that tremendous flavor and tenderize that meat. And we are about done. We're gonna start by coming in the side. We'll get it in pretty deep. We're just gonna give it a nice injection. We have all of our pork butts injected with our marinade. We're gonna go ahead and wrap them with some plastic wrap to make them airtight, and then place them in the fridge for about 8 hours, and we'll see you at 3 a.m. Here we are, 2 in the morning. I don't know whose idea this was. Might be the last catering event I ever do. Might as well have another baby at this point. Let's not complain, let's jump into this. We're gonna unwrap our pork butt, we're gonna score them, and then we're gonna hit them with some mustard for a binder and add our seasoning. And I don't know if I told you why I wrapped it in plastic wrap, but the reason being is because I injected it with that marinade last night, and while it's sitting in the fridge, that juice is gonna seep out and you can sort of see it in there. This is gonna help confine it, make that flavor infuse in this pork butt a little better. And we wanna get some paper towels and pat them dry. Moisture is not our friend in this case, it's our enemy. Go ahead and just pat it dry pretty good here. Flip it back over, we want the fat side up, because that's where we're going to score. And if you didn't know, the reason why we score the fat cap is because seasoning cannot penetrate through fat. So we score it, it opens it up, and it allows that tremendous, beautiful flavor to get into that meat of the pork butt. But this is also known as the crosshatch technique, where you create little diamond-like pattern in the pork butt. And our trusty mustard as a binder. We're gonna rub that in. And repeat the process. You don't need to overkill it. A little bit of mustard goes a long way. That's gonna help hold that seasoning onto this meat. And when this meat starts to sweat in the smoker, it's gonna allow it to absorb the seasoning throughout the smoke and help build a tremendous bark. Now we're gonna season these puppies up. You can be generous with the seasoning. You don't want to under-season, but yet you don't want to over-season. It's a fine balance, but in this case, sometimes more is better. And now we're gonna flip these babies over and get that beautiful scored fat side. Alright, for this catering smoke, I'm going to use my pellet smoker. I'd much rather just put it in here and let the machine do the work. I'm going to fit 3 on top. 1, 2, 3. We're rolling at 225, and this is going to be a long 12-hour smoke. We want it to be a nice, slow ride. After 2 hours, we're going to get in there and start spritzing with some apple cider vinegar. Okay, we put on the pork butts on the pellet smoker around 2:45 a.m. Well, let me tell you, it crapped out. Here we are at 350. It can't hold its temp, so I'm converting to the charcoal. I should have just stayed with the charcoal the whole time and trusted my gut instinct, but I was trying to make it more easier on myself. So lesson learned, next time I ever do catering, or if you do catering, use something you can trust. All right, we're gonna go ahead and transfer these pork butts onto the charcoal. Okay, the transfer was successful. We're rolling at 225 still. We're 2 hours in. We're going in for our first spritz. And what we're gonna do here, we're just gonna go ahead and mist the tops, the sides, and this is gonna keep that meat from overheating, protect the outside of it, and help our pork butt get a good bark on it. And I forgot to mention, after you spritz the first time, every 45 minutes to 1 hour, you need to come out and keep spritzing all the way until an internal 165. What happens at 165? 165 is when you wrap. Okay, I typically go by look before I start probing it and check the temps. And let me tell you, they are looking about ready, so we're gonna check them with the meat probe. As you can see, that bark is just turning out amazing. And that crosshatch patterning has really done the trick here. Let's go ahead and probe these and see what temp we're looking at. I'm wanting an ideal of 165 for wrapping, so it is time to wrap. I'm gonna go ahead and remove these pork butts and place them in this aluminum foil. I'm gonna do 2 of them here. Ooh, that is nice. All right, we're gonna do that with each one. And then once we get it in the aluminum pan, we're gonna add about 2 cups of beef broth. And this liquid is gonna mix in with that fat, and it's gonna be absolutely delicious and help keep it super moist. I'm going about 2 cups. I'm gonna add some foil here, wrap these babies up, place them back on the smoker. As you can see, I don't have much room to work with. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put them in this foil and I'm gonna stack them too high. I'm gonna go for 3. If this one don't work, I'll just go ahead and place it in the oven. But let's see how this does. Okay, I wrapped these about 2.5 hours ago, and I checked them with the probe. My bottom ones are done at 203. These are around 195, and these are about 188. So what I'm gonna do is remove this bottom pan, place it in the cooler, and go ahead and separate these two a little bit so they can breathe a little bit better. Okay, we're about 75% of the way completed with my first catering experience ever. We got them resting in this cooler. They've been in there for about 3.5 hours. We have 45 minutes until the family and the guests and all that are eating. We're gonna go ahead and start shredding right now. For everyone at home viewing, I want you to see something. Just watch how simple that comes out. Absolutely money. And that just shreds like butter. We're just gonna load this up the truck. My neighbors, they only live about 2 minutes down the street. Let's go and take it down. Here it is, time for truth. All the guests are waiting. Let's go feed them.